Hey there, Dan here. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, so I'm sculpting 9 human male faces for a 32mm tavern scene, all from my own imagination and all built on my usual 32mm base mesh. If you'd like to pick up the base mesh for yourself, you can head over onto my Gumroad store and you can either purchase the base mesh on its own or it's actually as a freebie in my miniature sculpting course there too. Links for both of these are down in the description. So these faces started out in various different ways. So there was a couple of characters who are kind of named with descriptions straight out of the campaign. It's for Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, and it's for the Elf Song Tavern. So a few of these characters are named personalities, NPCs that you can interact with, and they have brief descriptions, really brief. The first character that we've just done, you've just seen him kind of happen while I've been talking. He is a punch-drunk shipwright with no eyebrows. That's basically the description we get. So taking that brief, I just went off and just sculpted somebody who looked like he'd been through the ringer a little bit out at sea and was now ready to regret his life choices in the morning, essentially. So following finishing this guy off, the next one, which is being sculpted at the moment, the brief for this one was an impoverished playwright. So again, no more than that. I wanted to go and channel a little bit of Shakespeare here. So I gave him the high forehead, the receded hairline, the kind of furrowed brow, hollow cheeks, make him look like he's doing more writing than eating. And yeah, got a kind of a very Shakespearean look going on. Now the next character started out as just a bit of a roughy tufty cauliflower eared thug, and whilst I was on stream we had some entertaining conversations that kind of took him in a different direction. So he then became Billy the blacksmith's apprentice. Billy ended up getting kicked into the forge by the blacksmith's horse, burning half of his face off, and being very scarred up and kind of mangled as a result. So yeah, an interesting character to find in the tavern. Not actually one of the NPCs, this one was purely from just imagination and a kind of a bit of a nonsensical chat, essentially. So it's funny how some of these ideas can develop. So once Billy was done, the next character that we're going to be moving on to, I call him the cheating scoundrel. So this guy, there's a couple of guys in the tavern in the campaign who are playing a game called Baldur's Bones. Baldur's Bones it's a simple dice game basically, which actually sounds like it'd be quite interesting to play, so I'm going to have to give it a go at some point and just try it out for myself. But Baldur's Bones is, I say, it's been played on a couple of the tables, and I wanted to have this kind of like a scene where there's like a guy cheating, somebody calling him out, and a couple of observers. So the first face I'm doing here now is the cheating scoundrel. So basically I gave him a sharp chin, a kind of a smirk, kind of like weaselly eyes. I want him to look a little bit too confident, and I think I ended up sculpting somebody who was very Silco-like. If you've watched Arcane, you'll get the reference. It's very slick, kind of a bit of an evil crime lord looking kind of guy. But I like him. He came across really well. I was quite pleased with the way he looked in the end. So after the cheating scoundrel was complete, I went on and sculpted Butcher. well, I say a butcher. He didn't start out as a butcher. He was just going to be a round-faced patron. And I decided kind of midway through the sculpt that he was going to be like the town butcher. Yeah, I made him a little bit, a bit tubbier, a bit chunkier. It's like, he's well fed. He eats well because he's eating all of the offal and the bits that aren't selling, and maybe he keeps the good bits for himself. So yeah, did him, finished him up. He was a pretty quick one to do. And then we went on to the next sculpt. The next guy I call Smokey Joe. Smokey Joe is the angry opponent of our cheating scoundrel. So as the sculpt progresses, basically I started by opening his mouth because I thought he's going to be shouting, he's going to be screaming across the table at the guy who's blatantly cheating at dice. Later on I decided to put a cigar in his mouth. That wasn't the plan right at the very beginning, but he felt like he needed it. The character just needed it. And it's things like that kind of help to just kind of tell the story a little bit. Big mutton chop sideburns, angry shouty look on his face, and that was the vibe we were going for. Pure fury wrapped in a 5 o'clock shadow. So all of this just helps to tell the story with just the face alone, really. But by the time we put all the rest of the props in, the ashtray, the table, the dice, and everything else, the scene just starts to come together. You won't see that in this video, but trust me. Okay, now this bit, when I'm sculpting a face, if I want a bit of personality to come through, I will very rarely ever sculpt hair symmetrically. Even though sculpting it symmetrically can save a lot of time, I do find it makes the whole thing feel a little bit more wooden. So a little bit of asymmetry, even if it doesn't completely match up, is a little bit more true to life. And it just adds that little bit more realism to the character, a little bit more believability. It does take a little bit longer to sculpt asymmetric like that, but it's not a massive drama. And like I say, the whole sculpt from start to finish for all 9 of these took me about an hour and a half. So I didn't actually spend too long on hair as in the end. There we go, we'll stick a cigar in his mouth, give it a little bit of a bend, a bit of a break. Maybe it's a cigarette, it's just a big fat chunky one because obviously miniatures and exaggeration and all that. And Smokey Joe's done. So the next face, so this is, I call him the laughing brute. So this guy is sat at the table, also partaking in a game of Baldur's Bones. He's much heavier set, he's much bigger and burlier than the other 2 guys. And he is frankly finding it hilarious that he's about to see our Mr. Silco smug cheater guy get the living daylights beaten out of him by old Smokey Joe across the table. So yeah, he's sat back, slapping his thigh, big mug of ale in his hand, laughing his head off, finding this absolutely hilarious. He does come across quite creepy, and he absolutely reminds me of was it Greed from Full Metal Alchemist? If you haven't watched it, watch it, it's brilliant. But yeah, Greed from Full Metal Alchemist, look him up online, you'll see what I mean. He's got the vibe, he's got a feel about him. After our laughing brute, so this one I put out to the live stream viewers, and they just started like giving me random direction about what shape his face should be, smiling, no thought running through his brain, all these kind of like things came through. So he's going to be like the village idiot. And then somebody says, give him a moustache, and I'm like, what kind of moustache? Do we go for a little twirly one, or do we go for a big bushy one? And then somebody goes, oh, give him a walrus tash. So I start sculpting a bit walrus tash, a little rat tail ponytail, the rat tail ponytail becomes a mullet, and all of a sudden I realise I've just sculpted half of the Chuckle brothers. So I've literally just inadvertently, by accident, sculpted Barry Chuckle. And we can't have Barry without Paul as well. So following completion of the Barry sculpt, I'll go on and make his brother Paul. Now, if you're not familiar with Paul and Barry Chuckle, they are pretty much, I think, the UK equivalent of Charlie Chaplin. Children's entertainers, full-on slapstick entertainment, always good for a laugh. Get on YouTube and have a little look, you won't be disappointed. And with that said, I think I'm going to have to go and make a little bit of a D&D mini module to introduce a bit of slapstick antics for these guys. So watch this space and we'll get that one up and running soon. Now, if you'd like to see the full normal speed version of this, it's an hour and a half long. It'll have my full commentary on it, including design theory, thought process, sculpting technique, etc. You'll find that over on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/LTminis. And if after watching all of this you feel like you'd like to have a go at this yourself, maybe create some characters of your own, some unique ones, or even just copy what I've done and try making the same kind of characters I've just made here, then head over to my Gumroad store. The link is in the description below. Go grab the base mesh and get stuck in. If you've enjoyed watching this and you'd like to see more of it, don't forget to give us a like on the video and click the little subscribe button and press that little bell that lets you get notified whenever I put a new video up. Okay, thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Catch you later, taters.